Hello, beautiful people. Logan Lenz here, CEO of Nucleus, and I'm excited to be with all of you. I'm going to talk about Nucleus, answer all the questions that we've been receiving lately. Everyone's excited about what we're doing, but the clarity is important. What is a venture studio? What's happening with psychedelics? What's the real business opportunity that Nucleus is presenting to the world? And what are we accomplishing? What traction have we built? How are we continuing to evolve and grow? How are we activating users? And like I said, building real valuable businesses for humanity, right? So I'm going to go ahead, start sharing my screen. We're going to get through this within 30 minutes. That's what I've earmarked. Maybe if we have a decent crowd here, you could leave a comment toward the end, and I can answer them if we have enough time. Hopefully, we will do so. So let's dig right in to the topic at hand. So yes, Nucleus is a venture studio for psychedelics. You may have heard of us over the past few months. We have some assets that you may have engaged with. Some of those logos are here on screen, but I'm here to tell you about why we're doing what we're doing at Nucleus, and it's really to impact and save lives, right? So if you haven't heard, psychedelics have been growing in popularity. So the purpose of all of this is we have something in front of us that we need to seize that's more efficacious psychedelic assisted therapy and medicines that are being developed and saving lives. And there's a massive opportunity where people are finding out about this. And there needs to be a way to connect those people that are curious with the assets that they can engage with, which is exactly what we're doing here at Nucleus. And just the massive opportunity. This is a Google Trends spike showing that since the pandemic, obviously we know that mental health has been a major topic, but it's only accelerated, and specifically the popularity of psychedelics and the rate at which people are searching for specific psychedelics and psychedelics generally has spiked to a degree that on this chart it just hits the top. That's about 5 million searches on Google alone per month, and it's just continuing to increase. So that's the message here, and why we're doing what we're doing is so that we can build businesses to bring those people in and support this network activism that needs to come to bring these medicines to the forefront. Again, it's about impact, it's about saving lives, but it's really about ancillary businesses that could be generated and created at scale through an infrastructure, and allowing these users and anybody that wants to engage with psychedelics this on ramp, this very frictionless experience so that they can get what they need out of it and have access to not just this industry, this knowledge, this data, but hopefully these medicines in the future and certain experiences that you can have today. So these are some of the businesses. I will dive into the pertinent ones individually. But yeah, a lot of exciting things as we continue to grow here at Nucleus. But we believe, like I've been saying, that psychedelic medicines are the future. But the hole that we're filling here is that the industry needs a better way to on ramp these users. And we say it's connecting people with the psychedelics industry. And even more specifically, connecting people with the people that help other people. So, in a lot of fun ways, you can kind of position us as the matchmaker because these assets are what's forward facing. That's what anybody can engage with, and it enters into a community, into an ecosystem. And what makes it even better is that we're building real valuable tools, and we have a data platform to support these participants, these entrants that are coming into this industry. It's practitioners that want to grow. It's investors that want to deploy capital into this space. There's professionals that want to, create community. And also there's builders, which I love to support, right? More entrepreneurs coming into the space to build even more ancillary businesses. And that's a fantastic thing to create a movement, right? And create the momentum that we need to bring these medicines into the forefront. So for us, it's about efficiency. It's about infrastructure. So you may not be familiar with the term venture studio, but all that means is that we are a hub that allows us, it's a group of people with very much an expertise, with an infrastructure to shell out ideas and concepts and prove them quickly. Narrow feedback loop. efficient processes, go to market, get the data that we need, scale it, pause it, shut it down. It's really just the speed, the expertise, and our team is backed by industry experts, not just of advisors that I'll show you in a little bit, but we're actually backed by Eater Investments, which is a venture fund that is a $20 million fund for development of these medicines. So very well positioned in terms of our deep bench and who we're able to gather feedback from and work with. And again, this infrastructure and the tech model allows us to be fast and build a diverse portfolio of assets and then decide quickly what's working and what's not. That's, in so many words, what's allowing us to do this quickly, efficiently, and successfully so far. So the process, generally speaking, that just to paint a picture around this is we'll survey our users, our audience, will know the industry enough to say, here's a void, so how can we solve that? So there's an idea. Then we build the business model. Is there actually a business to be built here? Then we'll launch a concept, we'll test it, we'll gather data, we'll then optimize it, right, over time. If it's working and it's gaining some traction, it's really about scaling that so that then we can grow. And that last step is even below scale and grow would be to raise capital, spin it off on its own, and make it a massive success independent from the studio itself, even though the studio owns that asset once we're able to actually create that traction that's needed to release it into the world. So, more specifically, think of us as, yes, a creation hub, like a machine, but also a diverse portfolio of assets. So we've bought some assets in the past and we've been able to build upon those, and we've also created new ones. So that whole process of ideating, we've been able to build a marketing platform, some tools specifically for locations that are needing community built around them. We've built data aggregators and other tools in the space, but we've also done joint ventures. So that's where the versatility comes into play with an infrastructure like ours. We can efficiently plug in our platform, our technology, our database, and work with other stakeholders in this industry. And we've done that with Psychedelic Finder, which is a directory. Think of it as Yelp for psychedelics. And we can continue to do this just because we have that infrastructure and that speed to market that allows us to add value across all of these different opportunities. And this is a good example of how we can partner or integrate our technology or just generally share audiences with anybody in this industry, or even kind of adjacent industries that want to speak to or talk about or run events regarding psychedelics. That's been a kind of a popular topic this year generally. So we're able to plug into and support these types of stakeholders as they enter into this industry. And our API allows us to do this. Our tools allow us to do this. And it's really just a plug and play, especially with our media assets. We have an audience that you can get in front of, and then we can share in messaging and collaborate and try and break the stigma of psychedelics. That's why we're doing this, right? So this model scales really well for us, and we can continue to expand upon it. So specifically, we have real businesses that are running, that are generating profit, and are, expanding every day, right? That's the idea here. Is Nucleus is not just this really nice shell company. It is efficiently acquiring and building assets that are building real businesses. And here's some specs on Newly, which is a data platform that we've been building and having it evolve, where we have 2,000 active users. We built some products that you can customize the feed and kind of understand the industry of psychedelics a little bit better and customize it to your abilities. Like if you're an investor, you get an investment feed. If you're a media partner, you get news, and these custom dashboards we charge for. So we have revenue coming in. And what's most important, and why I start out emphasizing Newly, is that it powers the ecosystem. And in a sense, can power psychedelics just because we're indexing so much data, which leads me to this next slide, is that our technology is based around a robust architecture that allows us to have eyes on everything that's happening. So we monitor industry resources, changes that might happen. Our database collects all that, automatically labels, categorizes it, puts it in the right place. But then we have a human curation process where we make sure we throw out the bad stuff, maybe stuff that got in that was somewhat relevant in one way, but not necessarily categorized correctly, that goes bye-bye, and we kind of make sure that we populate all of our tools and really the whole ecosystem with the good stuff. And that's what's amazing about the scalability of this, is as new data comes in, we can immediately port it through to anybody that's using that data with this structure. We also have, this is our media asset, which connects investors with the psychedelics industry. It's called Psychedelic Invest. We have a growing subscriber base, growing social following. We have page views that have now reached over 60,000 page views per month, so that continues to grow. And we have a subscription model. And right now we're working on year-end reports, which is really exciting. So we do have kind of this premium package for really detailed deep dives on reports specific to the industry. But we also have an index that you can check out on the website that follows the public markets. And we do newsletters, things like that. A lot of content, which is what we have here. A lot of shows, a lot of interviews. We meet with CEOs. We have Investor Hot Seat where we interview those CEOs. And we have just big questions that we answer on a show called Mind Shifting Moments. And really, it's just a matter of anything that's a story, anything that's interesting, any way we can educate the masses. That's part of our mission, and that's what we do at Psychedelic Invest. For our marketing side, which has become probably the quickest and fastest growing business of our portfolio, it's called SciRise, and we just made it a platform, and just this week kind of made it so that we can open up to even more clinics, therapists, coaches, and retreats, and they pay us to use the platform and or work with them from a consulting basis or as an agency. So we have that flexibility in the packages, but really at the forefront now is this, we have this platform that kind of automates and streamlines the ability for us to generate leads and connect people with, these clinicians and practitioners that want to grow. And really all of our pipes inside of this ecosystem, this is where the funnel starts. Everything now comes through our platform in SciRise, regardless of which brand anybody's interacting with. So it's kind of swallowed up this really efficient lead gen model that we hope to continue to scale. And yeah, we have a lot of demand coming in that we can't even keep up with, if we're being honest. But that kind of speaks for itself as this industry continues to prove itself and gain traction. A lot more people are going to need help, need treatments, and we can be the engine that supports the growth of these practitioners and the treatments themselves. We have a lot of other exciting things going on. So what else are we building? There's a lot of tools. I already mentioned the joint venture, the Yelp for psychedelics, that's Psychedelic Finder. We have a course aggregator called Matter Academy, and we're working specifically on tools for specific markets that work on concierge and user intake and connecting people with people. So Oregon with Measure 109 is a good example of that, but we're also obviously looking at Colorado and other ways that we can interact and improve the process of adoption in specific locales. We also have a DAO-based structure that we sit on in the background that can support a distributed system that we hope to be able to capture as psychedelics become more prevalent. The idea there is more efficiency in the ways that you can serve and store data and allow the user or patient to own and have custody over all of their data. It's really important as part of what we're trying to do to break down the current systems and make things more efficient, holistically speaking. Services continue to expand. So we already mentioned some of the marketing services, but we also do some creative blockchain development and are trying to create mental health parity through content and just awareness that mental health data is important. So we have an asset called On-Chain Mind that's just getting going. And something that we tend to not talk about, but it's a real business and a real opportunity, is that we put on small events to support psychedelic this movement and just knowledge sharing in general. It's called the Psychedelic Series, and we work in small venues and just intimate settings. And we've gone to, I don't know, maybe at least 5 countries at this point. A lot of the big pockets in the U.S. in terms of cities and just overall demand that we've seen. So that's going to continue to pick up in 2023, and we have a lot of monetization opportunities specific to putting on these types of events. All right, So the ecosystem, I already mentioned Eater Investments. This diagram is a nice way to summarize, how we work within not just what we've built within the greater industry, right? So if you have Eater owning this massive engine, right, and the Nucleus is that centerpiece to the engine, then you get to see how we could work with Eater Investments portfolio companies. That's those that Eater invested in. Those are in the top, quartiles here. And then down below is how we support with our different categories. So we're building tools, we're building services, and we're putting on events, but data is always at the center. And that data is able to be plugged into from all across this diagram, which makes this very versatile, very scalable. And hopefully you can kind of now start to see how the psychedelics industry as a whole is now a circle beyond this diagram that can also utilize that data that we can power. A little bit about how this came to be. So we did a webinar specifically about the founding story and how this crazy idea of Nucleus came to be. But really, the founder, Dustin Robinson, who is a managing partner of Eater Investments, had some ideas, had some opportunities, and really saw this gap in the market where we needed better ways to tell stories, better ways to connect people with each other, and really just figure out the means of which we could support all of this amazing technology and advancements in drug development, right? So therein lied the opportunity to create kind of this venture studio model to create assets that would support that demand. And that demand then ended up being media assets, technology assets, and data assets. And just so happens my background falls into those categories. I've had over $1 billion of marketing and advertising spend under my belt as an agency owner, a media buyer for some of the biggest companies in the world, and also have built many technologies, even specific to the healthcare space over time. So I've had some exits, an IPO, and continue to be excited about what we can do with technology and infrastructure and distributed systems to help as many people as possible. So we also have Robert Velarde, who is a managing partner at Eater Investments. We call ourselves the founding team, but we're solving a real void, and that's really the story here. Is people need to connect to the industry, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. We also then expanded to a broader team of outstanding, amazing, extremely talented individuals, engineers, writers, content creators. We even have a business development team now. And across all of these departments, if you will, we're just working so efficiently and cohesively as one to support all of our brands. And it makes me so proud and happy every day to get to work with these individuals. We also have the luxury of having an advisory team. That's actually the Eater Investments team. It's some of the best attorneys, scientists, tech consultants, coaches, just a lot of amazing people. You could just even quickly Google some of these folks. And again, I'm humbled and honored to be able to get some narrow feedback, tight improvements and recommendations based off new ideas that we're able to come up with as a group. And it's quite amazing to see the process play out with such smart people collaborating. So we don't like to see or even engage with the idea of competition in this space just because we have this model that supports and can collaborate with those that might do similar things. In fact, we're doing that with some of our joint ventures, and then we're even powering some of these competitors, quote unquote, with our model. So they're actually paid users of our database, for example. But just a quick look at like the media landscape, if you're unfamiliar with some of these resources, all of which are amazing, that do some journalism and report on the psychedelics industry. What we like to consider ourselves as is just a little bit more diverse, a little more robust. Since we have that technology play, we have the ability to aggregate content very quickly, and we have this distributed long-term model of how we can break down systems. So it makes us a little bit unique, and again, a little bit more geared for growth, right? So we officially launched Nucleus not even a year ago, so it was January 1st of 2022, believe it or not. And up to this point, collectively, we've reached over 60,000 page views per month. We've hit $10,000 in monthly, recurring revenue, and we continue to collect as much data as possible. So on this forecast, with the current growth rates being that we've only been doing this for about 11 months, our subscriber base and our visitors is just going to continue to amplify as psychedelics continue to gain more traction. And this is becoming a real business opportunity. Even just our pipeline alone can suggest this revenue number where it's showing 2024, mid 2024, $300,000 a month in revenue. That could be looked at as conservative, strictly because even Sci-Rise as an individual business has so much demand right now that we can't keep up with it. So right now we are raising money, which is a good segue into how can we scale to be able to support that demand that this industry needs. And investing into Nucleus, because of this model that we own all of the assets that we create, gets you access to every single thing under the umbrella and anything that we build in the future. So just think of us as almost like the PNG of this industry, where we can really create anything as time continues to move on and things evolve and things change. Our ability to move quickly and understand what's going to work best and create new ideas and new competitors to somebody extremely quickly when we see the opportunity is what's going to give us this competitive advantage and just this overarching strength in the awareness that Nucleus as an umbrella can capture more broadly. So we'll continue to build media assets, tools in the tech space and beyond, and aggregation. We'll get into products. That's going to be a massive opportunity, like functional mushrooms today and other partnerships that we can continue to grow. And ancillary services, it's a real opportunity as more people enter into this industry. We're raising $3 million right now. You can see at the bottom, we have a WeFunder campaign going, which is really exciting. And you can check it out, obviously, but we're going to use this money for, team. You saw an amazing team, none of which actually are fully employed full time. So I want to be able to scale this beautiful culture that we've been able to build and maintain so far, and then get engineering moving even further, because the next thing is product, right? Working on the Newly database, making it more automated, making it more robust, and just accelerating the things that we can do. There's so many amazing things that we can do to support the psychedelics industry as the technology matures. We're also going to create even more content. So we have Psychedelic Invest today. We can get broader on our topics and categorically bring in more of these adjacent industries that might want to work within the construct of the psychedelics landscape, and we can be the on-ramp for those types of content partnerships. So yeah, I appreciate all of your time and attention. If you do have any questions, you can leave them now here during this event. Otherwise, shoot an email over to what you see on the screen, which is invest@withnucleus.com. You can call or text this number. That's actually going through Sci-Rise. Or obviously check out our website and send a contact form message. You can reach out to me directly, Logan@withnucleus.com. You can find me online as well, Logan Lenz, pretty much everywhere on all social channels. I love talking to anybody that has passion about this technology, changing lives, supporting other humans. So feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to have a discussion. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for supporting people, supporting this movement of psychedelic medicines. And I look forward to changing the world with you. Until next time, thanks.